Hi, it's V. I'm back. I took a month off. I took a month for mental health and self-care. I did this because in this move that I've just gone through, I was also separating from a relationship that I've been in for like 10 years. It was a big deal, and I needed to do everything I could to support myself and hopefully not have a depressive episode and hopefully flourish in this new space that I'm in and prepare myself well for whatever's to come. So I'd like to talk about what I've been doing, the things one can maybe do to help one's mental health, to prevent depression as much as one can. And yeah, I'm going to reference some resources that I used to come up with these things, and those will be in the description. But let's get right into it. So the first thing I kind of did after getting all my stuff unpacked, which I did as quickly as I could just in case a depressive episode was coming quickly, I started to try to find connection. I looked on meetup.com and found a queer board game group and a local mental health group, and I looked at the library websites around and found a queer film club and a queer book club, lots of queer stuff. But yeah, I also looked at community centers around here and found a art community center that has creative writing workshops that I'm going to check out. And then the last thing is like spiritual centers can be really cool. So I checked out the local UU church, and it just so happened in the first time I go in there, they are talking about resilience, and they're talking about the things you can do to be more resilient. And that fits perfectly with this month of self-care that I had planned to do. And I'm going to use that talk as kind of a frame. Basically, all the stuff that I've done fits into this acronym of GRACE. And the G is for gratitude. So we're going to talk about things you can do for gratitude, and then rest. A, acceptance. C, connection. E, elasticity. And then I'm going to add an S to it. So let's get into it. Gratitude. I've been continuing the habit that I talked about in another video of giving thanks for things before I go to bed, writing them down if I can. And I've also spent some of this time like reflecting and journaling on the things that I'm grateful for. I planned out a video for the things that I'm grateful for about bipolar, which I'll hopefully make soon. Then let's get into rest, what I've been doing to recuperate and gather energy. The talk I went to that I'm using as a kind of frame for this whole thing referenced a book called Option B, which was by Sheryl, Sandberg, Adam Grant. And that book talked about how we as people typically try to like plow through difficult times, but in reality, for resilience, taking time to rest is much more important and effective. So I have been not making as many videos and giving myself some time and taking that pressure off myself. I've been taking pressure off myself in relationships that are in a difficult place. I've also just given myself extra grace, extra forgiveness if I need some time to do nothing. There have been a couple days where I've just binged movies, and I have extra let myself be okay and not bully myself, because if you bully yourself or critique yourself all the time, that's the opposite of building resilience. So on from rest, we have acceptance. Getting to a place where I can feel okay, or at least acknowledge how things are before I move from there. And almost always you can tell yourself you're okay where you are. Even if it's horrible, you're okay. It's not an emergency. Almost always. And that's a good place to start. And this framework of acceptance has really helped my anxiety. I have social anxiety. I haven't talked about it a whole lot, but in situations, especially with multiple people. For example, going into that board game group, going into that UU church, I feel like panicky, and I can completely freeze up sometimes. I usually flub my words. The panic keeps me from remembering people's names or being fully present in the conversation. I'm just, and so in the time I went to the church, I let myself not socialize afterward at all the first time. I just let myself leave. It's okay, next time. Second time I talked to more people. And then with the queer board game group, the first time I went, I could see the anxiety rising in me. I was not being able to talk very easily. I was not being able to do basic math well for the games I was learning. And I realized this happening, and I was like, okay, I'm going to step back. I'm going to just let myself be more passive, and maybe next time I can be more outgoing and try to build relationships. This time I'm just gonna do the kind of minimum, because that's what I need right now. Then we move on to the C, connection. Like I said, it's great to just try to find communities. One that I skipped is DBSA, which is a support group I already had, which I started leaning on more, going to more. I'd really like to plug this. It stands for Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance, but people with other mental disorders do go. I've seen people with schizophrenia or anger management problems or ADHD, and it's just a really great place. You have trained facilitators who lead like small group discussions, or sometimes a little bit bigger groups, like 10, 20, max like 25-ish people in a group usually, and you just talk about what comes up, and you share your experiences and try to support one another, and it's pretty awesome. And they have over 200 chapters in most states in the US, and then there's a chapter in like Brazil and Greece. And then if you don't have a chapter near you and you're in the US, you can check out NAMI.com, National Alliance of Mental something, and mental illness. And they have resources to find other groups. And so that's what I've been doing for connection, a little extra. And then elasticity. This one is a little less straightforward in the original GRACE acronym. This is giving yourself space to bounce back. We as humans, it talks about in that option B book, are really bad at affective forecasting. We are bad at predicting how we are going to feel emotionally about things. We often predict that we are going to feel crappy for a lot longer than we will, and those predictions can sometimes be a self-fulfilling prophecy. We expect to feel crappy, so we stop doing things that are going to bring joy and the positive things, because we're like kind of leaning too far into this negative expectation. It's best to just accept and see how things are going. Go with the wave, don't fight it, but don't add to it. And in terms of elasticity, I've been practicing that. When I moved in, I did everything to prepare myself if I was going to have a major depressive episode, so I wouldn't have just chaos and unpacked boxes and dirtiness around when I was maybe going into a depressive episode, but I did not expect it, and I did everything I could in the state I was in to prevent and to support myself instead. So on to S, which is what I added to the acronym GRACES, self-care. So this is about physical self-care. It's not really covered by the other letters in the acronym, but I've been trying to provide myself great nutrition when I can, cooking, but doing it in a leisurely way, not pushing myself. And sometimes I want to just eat fast food, and I give myself grace when I want to do that, and then I just return to my usual trying to have balanced meals. And then also just giving myself physical care in terms of hygiene. I've been like washing my face and using moisturizer before bed more than ever before, and I've been kind of using that as a replacement for more negative stuff that I'm removing in terms of my physical self-care. I have not been drinking or smoking weed pretty much at all. I told myself going into this new apartment, I'm not going to own any alcohol or weed. And then when at night I really want to drink, I will instead go wash my face and go do something relaxing or maybe write. And this is a great way to kill two birds with one stone if you are trying to stop doing something for your self-care and start doing something for your self-care. The new thing will be reinforced by the reminder of you wanting to do the old thing. So that's nice. I kind of quit those, the weed and the alcohol for the most part, because I use them to run from my feelings often, as I talked about in another video, which I'll post in the description. But this is about acceptance, and it's about being okay with how things are. So when I want to drown out the thoughts I'm having, care for myself in that moment, and then let it be. But yeah, those are the ways that I've been kind of caring for my physical health in terms of self-care. I hope some of these might be helpful in case you need a mental health week or month or day. And to recap, we've got practicing extra gratitude, resting instead of pushing, acceptance of where you're at, C, connection to people and community, E, elasticity, allowing yourself to bounce back, and S, self-care. So that's all. I hope to be coming with more videos back at a weekly-ish schedule. And I love all of you guys, and please take great care of yourselves. Goodbye, my beautiful queer folk, strong neurodivergent friends too, and all of you allies, brazen and free, so long and blessed be.